I didn't know. Happy New Year.
He doesn't have one.
I decided I'm just going to use that thing that
Excellent.
records everything. I'm kidding.
So does the webinar.
Yeah, that's good.
We are using Zoom webinar for this meeting, which allows the public to participate in the meeting as an attendee. The chair can request the members of the public provide their names for purposes of keeping accurate minutes of the meeting. Attendees will join in listening mode, and we ask that everyone display their names correctly. Attendees can click the raise hand button if they wish to speak. The chair will call on those who have raised their hands in the order they were raised. All questions should be directed through the chair. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that other people may be able to see you, and take care not to share screen, your computer. Anything you broadcast may be captured by the recording. I call to order the Nantucket Land Bank Commission regular meeting of January 13th, 2026. We're going to convene an open session. Do I have a motion to accept the agenda?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comment and staff announcements.
I do not have any staff announcements past us having a holiday party, which Dana is planning, hopefully sometime in the end of January.
We did set the date for the Cross
Oh,
Island
yes.
hike just today. It's going to be a little earlier. It's going to be the 19th of September, Saturday, because of the early hunting season.
Put it on your calendars.
Yeah.
For the 19th
19th of September.
of September.
The Cross Island hike.
Next week. Oh, the cross. Christina, could
Yes.
Comment. I would just like to give a shout out to my Comet Golf Club and all they did to try and help Kevin Ryan. They, behind the scenes, did everything they could, and it's a really sad story where it ended. But they tried really hard, from Jack Moran to Sean, even to Al Costa in the old days. He used to feed it, the guy, and I just think it just says the level of character that we have working for us, and it's only sort of good news I can take out of the whole thing. They were willing to go to such lengths. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move to want to jumps for.
I would.
Yeah.
Do you mind?
No, not at all. We are going to jump down to, where is it?
Smith Hummus.
Okay, smooth Hummock's event request from the property management. And maybe Susan can move that chair. Oh, sorry.
I don't know how it got back there. It was every third day.
Staff meeting.
Okay, yes.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Jim Meehan. I'm the treasurer of the Nantucket Athletic Association, formerly known as the Nantucket Triathlon Club. And we have a request in for the 15th running of the half marathon. We start at Bartlett's Farms, and then we go on to Helm's Way and into the Smooth Hummocks, and basically make 2 loops on the property. We have, last year we had 1,150 people registered. Only 500 showed up because we had that October storm. We generally get about a 25% no-show rate. So we think we do cap registration. We sold out in August of last year. It's a not-for-profit. We donated last year $30,000 to various island athletic, mostly youth athletic efforts. There's no paid staff. There's nobody putting any money in their pocket on this one. So we basically, we're going to run it again, hopefully at 1,150 people, expecting about 800 runners on a really great day. Most we've ever had were 750 runners, because there's a big no-show. And we do bring a lot of people into the island for this, a lot of young people, 20-somethings. We have a rising in this group. We are recognized in Runner's World magazine, which is an international running magazine, as one of the top beach half marathons in the country. So it's become very popular. We do stress, the importance of smooth hummocks ecologically, to the island and to the world, as one of the remaining grass plains, and ask that people not throw garbage and that sort of thing. We do police it afterwards, and we've had really good good success with that. We don't really get much trash thrown on the course. We have 4 aid stations out there and public safety program. We really limit, the course could actually take probably twice as many runners, but from a public safety perspective, we really want to keep it at the 1100 because if it was a hot day, we may have more, medical emergencies and we only take so many on the island. So we work very closely with the fire department and police department, safety effort. We have had a couple of people taken to the hospital, but and one flown off last year with basically, I think they're in the chicken box the night before, chronically dehydrated, so they have to be evacuated. But for the most part, we've had, and it's the great thing about the course. It's much safer than the historic course, which started at the Lighthouse School and ran through Cattasham and up Tom Nippers Road. And we had people running on the road there, which, without the bike path being there, it was a very dangerous course. So we shifted over here, and it's pretty much a closed course. We don't close the roads down. Runners know that the roads aren't closed down. We do have 4 police officers on detail, and we have about 75 volunteers marking the course and providing us an additional layer of safety. So I think it's a really great program. People get really high marks. Return rate is about 3 times what the return rates are for other races. So it's just a real success, and I think people will appreciate an opportunity to run out there and see the smooth hummocks for what it is, and the beautiful course that it is, and it's been a real success. So we'd like to keep it going, and we appreciate your support. And Rico Schraff is really helpful, helping us prepare the course because we just use some mowing when people exit from Bartlett's Farm into Elder's Way. He's always been terrific helping us out on that. So I'm open to questions, or I just want to express our appreciation for your support for the race.
Commissioner, have any questions?
Just a comment. This is one of the best organized running events on this whole island. I mean, you do a fabulous job as far as organization. Things are set up and that sort of thing. So I just want to comment, and I think it also gets people up into what I consider one of our most beautiful properties. And it's the perfect space to have a half marathon or whatever.
We do keep the cars off the course, so the parking is done here at the Bartlett's or overflowing to Cisco. So it's not like we're lining cars up on it. We do discourage parking along the route as well, and keeping cars off.
I'd echo what Alan said. Never a problem. And I'd like to make a motion to approve if that's required.
All those in favor? Aye. What's the actual date this year?
It's October 11th, the Sunday of the Indigenous Peoples Weekend. And we let, if somebody from the land bank wants to come and say a few opening remarks, we'd love to have you there. You're welcome to come there. You know a lot of people that are volunteers, so.
Thank you.
But we're not doing the quarter marathon this year, which was one loop. We're just doing the half marathon because there's a lot of race confusion, and so
Okay.
you have to show up for the whole 13 miles.
Do you have to do the half marathon if we come to talk? With opening remarks. The 2 weights.
We do.
Well, then we'll try and choose wisely.
They shop donuts at the end, so come for those. Nothing else.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking you, really appreciate it.
Problem.
So then I guess we'll go back to agricultural management with the deer donation updates.
Okay, I'm going to continue my deer donation updates for a little bit longer. I think one of the things that's been the most interesting is we just continue to have donations that are ongoing. The hunting season was extended this year, and so we have more people who are actually traveling to the island for hunting right now, and so we have been consistently getting more deer. I think the last time I heard we were at 47, but I bet you if I talked to Dean today, it would be closer to 49. So, that number is moving weekly, which is great. I think the only other addition I have, which is not quite deer donation, is that we are having a farm, Reed Poultry Farm from Sunderland, Mass. is coming down Thursday and Friday this week to take a look at our facility for, what upgrades, changes might be necessary for poultry processing. So they're going to be on the island for 2 days towards the end of the week.
I had a question if we've had a lot of problems with the dumpsters or if people have been respectful to that.
People have been almost exclusively respectful. I mean, we have had some trash, but it's not overwhelming. We have had a lot of use of the dumpsters. We stopped tracking it, but and we check them all the time. And Sunday, Diana reached out and said, can you make sure that Island Rubbish empties it on Monday, because the one behind Hillgates is pretty full. So that's probably the one that gets the most activity, but there's consistent use.
And I've heard from hunters that they're very thrilled with that. Like
That's
that
right.
is the number one thing from the hunters, that they really, even if they're not donating or anything. And I don't know if it's keeping, I haven't heard tons of complaints from dog walkers. I don't know if the guts are getting there, but I do know they're using it for the final product of that. So I think that it's been really successful. It's just one of those tiny little things that we tweak that really is beneficial.
I think we've had less calls,
Oh, definitely.
definitely less calls. I mean, I've only heard of me personally, people have reached out to me twice. And I usually would hear you guys on the phone all the time, and we'd always be telling property management staff, can you run out and pick this up?
Well, it works just getting out. Our hunter that's coming in from upstate New York called to ask questions, and they said, I know that we have to dispose of our own thing. I heard you had dumpsters. He asked locations. I mean, I think that whoever is getting the word out. It's great.
Yeah, I strongly, I think it's small dollars for a very positive public use that we should continue throughout the next seasons.
Okay.
I would say most of the calls I've had have all been positive feedback, and a lot of very appreciative people think that what we've changed this year and what we're doing is positive.
That's great.
That's awesome. Great updates.
Thank you.
Actually, so I still have a question on that, because I brought it to your attention. I was at the dog park, two different groups of people approached me and said, why don't the deer bones, why aren't they being frozen and given away to dog owners? And I brought it up, I didn't get a follow-up on it.
I emailed you back. I'm sorry, it might be in my drafts. We've actually discussed this in-house. We have some concerns about, I know it sounds really unexciting because I would love to give out dog bones. But we have some real concerns about parasites and contamination of dog food, and just mostly liability issues surrounding that we've been exploring. So I think that's the answer. We're exploring liability because I think it would probably be better if it was cooked. And I don't know if we really want to go there. So anyways, we need to think that through a little further, but we have some liability concerns.
Okay.
Even though I absolutely love the idea and would love to be able to make it
I
work.
think it would draw some more people into the food.
Definitely. I think it would be so neat. So,
Always something to work towards.
yep.
Okay, any other questions on the deer donation updates or anything related? Okay. Property management goes to the Field of Dreams.
Okay, well, I see that Siobhan is here, so I'm going to add her as a panelist. Let's
Siobhan.
see.
Familiar with the legal?
From the Wisconsin Trust.
Hi, Siobhan.
Hi, Siobhan.
We have you on, there you
Hi,
are.
everyone. Thank you.
Hi, how are you? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Good to see you all.
Nice to see you too. So we I'm just gonna provide a little bit of a background on what we did in the prior to the holidays, which was we had a site visit because at our last meeting, everyone discussed wanting to see on the ground what some of the requests were. So we had a site visit out at the Field of Dreams, where the commission and I walked the property. The tree work looks fantastic, and discussed the bamboo hedgerow and some of the different ideas we had, and looked at potential areas, potential locations for maybe a pathway and a seating area and entrances to the park, and discussed parking issues as well. So that was basically the summary of our site visit. And then because of the open meeting law, we can't actually have any discussion at site visits. So it was just purely informational. So all the discussion was to happen today. I was asked to get a legal opinion on the legality of the land bank paying, because we're a public organization with public funds and are overseen by our act, the legality of land bank paying for a pocket park or seating area on the Sconset Trust property. And so I do have that information to present as well tonight. And other than that, I think we're looking for, feedback from the commission and how they would like to see the property managed and what their visions are, as well as any questions or concerns they have. And I'm happy to present Valerie's opinion whenever you feel comfortable and or are interested.
So open it up to the commissions.
Yeah, I'd like to see a pathway put in from down our end, walk through, and I assume that we can go through the Sconset Trust and have a pathway all along, so that everybody can use.
Okay.
Would you like it to go down the center or on the perimeter?
Along the edge.
Around the perimeter?
Neil, do you have something?
I'd like to see handicap accessible parking on the corner, just one spot. But before I say too much more, I think what Valerie has said is I think we should probably share that.
Okay. I'm happy to share that. So Valerie Sweat is our attorney. She works for Overall Law. She provided, I'm sorry, I said legal opinion, but it's actually an advisory opinion. Advisory?
Yeah, opinion goes through. If she didn't get to the point of opinion, that would have to go through a whole.
So she advised us, and I provided it to the commission, that basically we're able to pay for things that happen on land bank property and or share expenses, on the Field of Dreams, like trees, where we have things happening on our parcels and on Sconset Trust parcels, like tree maintenance, but that we really don't have the ability in our act to pay for activity that is on exclusively the Sconset Trust land. So that was what she provided as an advisory legal note, basically.
So Neil, you have a comment?
Just to follow up, Siobhan, it feels like we'd be setting a really dangerous precedent if we paid any money to the Sconset Trust and would leave ourselves open to cries of favoritism. And I think land bank boards behind us would probably not thank us for it. But I'm glad we can cooperate on some level, and I'm happy that we can do the trees. But it looks like you might have to do what you want on yours and pay for that, and we might have to do the same on ours. That's what I'm hearing from legal.
Yeah, I found the legal opinion disappointing, but then again, I'm not an attorney, so that's why we pay her.
Mm-hmm.
After our site visit, I've been over there a couple of times since then to walk around the property, trying to think of, well, what as a land bank property, what are we trying to establish here? And first thing, of course, was just the open space, the fact that we have a lawn there, it's a place for kids to go and hang out or play or whatever. And maybe a bench or something like that on our, if we furnish a bench on our portion of the property, that's legal. If they wanted, the Wisconsin Trust wants to put something on their property, they can do that too. So I'm not sure, I see where where there would be an issue, or at least in my mind, we're not planning to use something that's going to overlap on their property or they're going to overlap on ours.
And Siobhan, you have a comment?
I do. The main thing that overlaps both properties is the bamboo and the cost of the bamboo removal. And that's kind of where the conversation started. So I'm wondering where the commissioners end up with Valerie's opinion with regards to the bamboo.
If we share tree trimming legally, surely we can share bamboo.
Yes, that is an instance where it crosses both properties. Could be a shared expense completely.
And we had talked at one point about what we did over on the road, Matica Road. That property, putting, I think we put some plates in the ground or something so the roots wouldn't spread. And that's been very successful over there. It's contained the spread of the bamboo.
And so my personal, after being out there and seeing where the bamboo was, there are definitely areas where the bamboo comes out, but there's also areas where it just lines the perimeter and gives a very good block to neighbors. So I personally, after being able to see it for myself on site, would feel comfortable with mowing the bamboo and controlling it into the areas that it's beneficial, which is basically where it creates a blockade, and mowing it in the areas that it takes up space on the properties. And I do feel if Valerie's opinion is okay with it, I feel comfortable sharing that cost of that bamboo management. But I don't think it's the removal of the bamboo as much as it is mowing and managing the bamboo. That's my personal opinion.
Now you're referring to the part that's intruded into the lot. We're in agreement to leave the barrier instead of putting in a new.
That's my recommendation.
I would agree with that.
I would agree to that too.
Siobhan?
Yes, I think that's fine. I think it would have to be done yearly because bamboo is pesky and keeps growing. So it would be an ongoing burden we agree to share.
I would agree. Neil, when you spoke about handicap parking space, what corner, or I guess what property were you thinking of that?
Our property,
Okay.
what's the street? Is it West Sankaty? No,
Yes.
West Sankaty, right at the end there, just a brick or something ADA approved, a brick or concrete or whatever.
So that would be across, we the land bank would burden,
we would do that.
and it would be
It'd
on
be
our
open.
property. And then if John's interested in some type of walkway, again, that would be, whether we pay our portion, and then if the Wisconsin Trust wants to pick it up on their portion, if we get it done together, it would cross both boundaries.
Yeah.
So we could get an estimate and split that cost. So,
I mean, I don't know how the board feel about concrete versus brick. Brick probably look nicer, but long-term more wear and tear, more maintenance.
I think for us, the question would be what fits better in Sconset.
yeah, that's it.
I don't actually know. I would defer to Mark or Siobhan.
I would say you need just to have the trust weigh in with an opinion that we can all hear.
Yeah.
But yeah, we like things that aesthetically look good, so know that that's probably what we're leaning towards.
I think that the nearest property to be a comparable is the pathways done at the chapel across the street. So we'd want to be in keeping with that, but we'd love to be able to leverage her expertise. She's been so good at looking at pricing of options in terms of not just buying costs, but also maintenance and long-term costs. And I'd love to add one other comment. I don't know if it came up in the site visit, but all of West Sankaty has no traffic speed limit signs. And this is something we brought up, to have a park on the corner. The trucks come around really, really fast, as does for that whole strip of West St. Kitty. So we are putting this forward with Civic Association to see if they need a traffic study. We know it's not your job, but we just love to have your support. That it would be great to have a speed limit sign on that road.
That's an easy request, I think. I
Yeah.
wanted to revisit you, because I thought the more logical spot for a handicap parking would have been right on the corner.
I'm open to, but that's not our plan.
It's not our limit. Like she says, trucks are picking up speed and making that turn right there. Perhaps that's a better alternative for a handicap space means an open space or better visibility. However, if we're going to pay for it, were you talking about putting it on the field or on the
It's
street?
just a small corner, like 12 feet in by 10 feet or something like that, whatever the ADA requirements are. And so someone who's less mobile can get back in, drive in, depending which side of the vehicle they get out, and go and we'll call it John's path.
So would that put the parking space inside of your proposed path?
No, I'd be outside of it.
Yeah.
So this was, I had brought this up for discussion tonight.
Can I point where I
Yes,
was
yes,
thinking?
yes.
So I was thinking way down in this corner,
Right.
right there, and then John, would your path come down here like that? I think that would be a great addition. It's a little quieter for people, but how do you get people to back in, I imagine, and or drive in? And I'd absolutely support that 20 mile. I thought the stickers everywhere say 20 is plenty.
They are. Just need some hats and sweatshirts.
I think the thing is, we want to make sure that this park is up to our standards and standards. You know, it's gonna be a nice place because it's the land bank that we're involved in. Same with Wisconsin Trust. So I think that there'll be a lot of eyes on that. As people use it, we'll get a better sense of, what the demand is out there.
Does that give enough feedback from the commission?
Yep. I think that was very, very helpful. Thank you.
Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Are we free to proceed with the tree removal, trimming, and mowing of the things that cover both lots?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the commissioner's time and attention on this. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye. Okay.
Who's Siobhan? Is she with Wisconsin Trust?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, Ellen, I think you worked with her because she was the Wisconsin Trust part when you were building the park down in Codfish Park that you were part of. She was the lead person there.
The one where we were sued. Yes. Sorry.
Okay, back to another conversation. Let's talk about One Hallowell Lane discussion.
Okay, so this was brought to our attention and I think we wanted to discuss this a little further. This is a property that is over on the North Shore. And I'm going to bring up, nope, that's not what I want to do, sorry. I'm going to bring up the Hallowell Lane survey plan, but basically where it is pretty much across from, it's on off Cliff Road. So it's kind of across from the Westmore Club. If you want me to zoom out, I can in the world.
I think we all know where this is, right? This is, we know
Mark,
where
do
this
you
is.
feel comfortable where it is? Because if you don't, I'll bring up a
Is this the
map.
one where they did the parking
Yes,
on our property? I've been there.
okay. So,
Alan, are you okay? Do you know what we're talking about?
That's a dirt road, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah, and the parking is right here.
there. Okay,
Mhm.
yes, I'm up to speed.
So the land bank owns an interesting little square in the center, and it really does function kind of as, I want to say open space, but it's not, it's so thick that you can't really use it, and it is also wet. So it's really kind of a, there's actually a view shed easement on it. So it really is sort of a visual open space for the neighbors because the whole place is surrounded by property owners. The land bank property is here, and we have a small parking area on this edge, which I can show you another plan of, which we really outlined clearly when we put in a split rail fence. We had this surveyed and put in a split rail fence along here because we had so many parking issues there. It's one of those neighborhoods where basically there is no place to park. And so if your landscaper comes, or if you're doing work on your house or something like that, there's literally no place to park. So if you exceed the driveway, you know, you end up on land bank property. So that was why we put in a split rail fence and really clearly established the parking area that we were allowed to establish as a public parking area. And then what happened recently was that we came upon a sign this summer that basically said it was a private parking area, and we got some feedback that there were concerns that people were being told they couldn't park there. So we followed up with a letter to the neighbors, basically saying, this isn't, you know, you need to know that this is a public parking area. And we kept an eye on it. Claire was out there today checking on it. And I think one of the things we might do is just spend a little bit more time out here tidying up the area. There's some opportunities to cut back some brush and make things look a little neater, like we have a little more presence. And probably the next step would be something along the lines of a sign that says public parking. So I'm going to let Neil take it from here.
I'm willing to, because I feel very strongly about this, to donate a stone post that says land bank parking, if the board would be willing to accept it. And I'll donate it and install it. Because it was brought to my attention by a couple of native Nantucketers who were harassed. They wanted to park there to watch the fireworks, sit in the back of their pickup truck, and this woman came out and called the police. Not appropriate at all. Never mind who they are or where they were born. And so I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is and offer to donate whatever the script you want. I mean, I just wrote down land bank parking, or if you want to say public parking, I'll do whatever and install it with supervision.
The public in there. The public in there too.
Public, land bank, public parking. So I don't know.
Land bank on the other side. Yeah,
Do you need two of them or one of them?
just one.
One.
Just one.
We do have a post there, one of our land bank.
Yeah.
The sign she put up said, it said something like private parking, land bank property behind, or something like
Yeah.
that. It was,
Yeah.
it was.
It was a nice try.
Yeah.
We've been jockeying in this neighborhood to
So-
assert our
Land bank, public parking.
existence.
Exact verbiage, anybody got any? Land bank?
Would it be possible to have the land bank logo on the top and then, whether it was in wood or something, and then public parking, so that you
Or-
have the land bank logo, which tells
Yeah, I
you.
could, or I could get the logo and then inset it
Mhm.
and glue it in so you can't pry it off.
Yeah,
And then put land bank parking below it or something.
Yeah, because it should say land bank. I think it should say land bank as well as
Yeah.
the logo.
Then public parking.
I'm sure I can be.
If we're trying to make this
forgiven
clear,
on-
let's make it perfectly.
Well, the
And I can do
logo
it on-
says land bank on it.
You could probably do it on two sides too.
Yeah.
Possibly not
You do.
miss it.
land bank and public. And
Yeah, yeah.
well, why don't you come back with an idea?
Me?
Yeah.
Happy to. Happy to.
I'm just curious if that is meant to solve in any way the fact that the contractors always park there. I'm over there a
I
lot
don't think you
walking,
can do anything about
every time I walk by there, there's a contractor.
Well, it's public
Well, I
parking.
kind of feel like, in my personal opinion, the letters to the neighbors, it could be, you know, this could be completely blocked off, but we provided a parking space because you are so limited for coming and goings of contractors. And so, you know, it's not like we've already done our due diligence by being helpful to you to have an extra parking space down there for comings and
They
goings.
leave their cars here. Like, they'll go off, leave them overnight, I've noticed it a lot.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on it. Maybe we should just keep an eye on it.
How
Continue.
can you tell whose car it is?
These are contractor vans.
Oh,
Oh,
the
well,
contractors.
When
are
they
the-
leave them in the lily pond, we put tags on them and say,
Yeah.
call them and say, no,
I mean,
yeah,
there's
it's
not
not
a lot of-
parking for you, you know.
Use of that by the public, I don't think, but still.
But I am very supportive. I haven't been in this area for a while, but I am supportive of starting to clean it up. I remember being down there doing a big trash cleanup and it's very overgrown. And if there is a view shed easement on or restriction on it, it would be nice if we follow through on that.
Yeah, and we do find that the more presence we have in an area, the more kind of people tend to adhere to the rules.
Do we need a motion to accept the
To make
donation?
it parking a little bigger.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Yeah,
When you're cleaning it up, can we enlarge?
So we have rights for something like a 20 by 36 lot. This is, let me just pull this over. This is what it used to look like. All right, well, I'll just make it as big as I can. When we first came there, basically we had this road was where the yellow is, and this was kind of a smudged in parking area that everyone had just created. So we just really formalized it and put it over here. I'd have to look because it is pretty specific about what we're allowed to have for parking, so we can't just have,
Yeah.
parking that goes
It's all
down.
wet.
I think it's really what's right behind the park.
Yeah,
I'd have to look and see if we can expand it at all, but we certainly can. I mean, one of the things is that the road, we could brush back the road a little bit here and there, and that would make a big
Yeah, I was
difference.
gonna say, you're showing 4 spaces, but have we already overgrown it? It's no longer 4 spaces?
I think it's pretty regularly used, so I think it's okay at 4, but we can just keep it tidied up, and if there's an opportunity to push it back a little, we'd be happy to do that.
I think we need a motion to accept Neil's donation.
Oh, the donation.
I'll make a motion. to accept it.
I'm sorry.
do I vote? I don't vote.
No.
Seems like cake and eat it time.
I'll vote for you.
All those in favor of accepting Neil's donation for post parking? Aye.
Aye. Very generous and kind of you.
Thank you very much.
Well, I believe strongly that these are very nice local couple who we all know, and it's just like, that's not how people should behave, no matter how many millions their properties worth.
I think the stones, every time I'm in Connecticut or wherever, and I see one of our, stones that you donated to the golf course and everything, I think they're wonderful.
They are wonderful. One of the golf courses is outstanding.
Yeah, that was a special one.
Well done.
Thank you. But I believe in the mission. So. Anyway.
Okay, anything else on that? We'll move on to 41 Jefferson Ave Dune System Parking Draft Plan Review.
Okay,
We got it in our packet.
this is big stuff. So I'm gonna start small and then I'll zoom in. But first, I just want to say that this is the ocean up here. And this is Jefferson Ave. And this is the neighbor's house, right here. And then behind here are additional houses. This is the area with a parking easement, so we don't actually have access to these spots right now because they go to the house behind. The Galley Beach Club and Cliffside are over here. The Cliffside Beach Club and Galley Restaurant are over on this side. And those are definitely considerations. Basically, I'm looking for commission approval. We're going to take it to the Concom, and I think it's important to reach out to the abutters and discuss this with them as well. So let's start here on the ocean side and work our way back. What we are proposing is, if you can see, this is that plank fence or the stockade fence, and then these are the pre-existing structures that were here, that are there now.
Yeah.
And so what we're proposing is removing these structures, right, relocating them to an area to be determined. And we are proposing to put in a bit of a dune over time For now, it will be sand fence. But this will basically be a dune structure in order to try and keep the sand on our property and not on the neighbors' properties. And sort of act like the buildings are functioning right now. So this will not immediately become a dune, and the reason for that is it requires a Chapter 91 permit, but we would like to bring this to the Conservation Commission and get all that started. In the meantime, we'd be looking at heavy sand fencing in the off season to, again, address concerns about sand movement.
The sand over on this side of the beach.
Yep.
Wow, the sand's
It's amazing. It's huge.
It basically gets to the rooftops.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it.
We have those pictures that we saw. Were you on that meeting? The archival photos from the 50s that show the same,
It wasn't,
No.
Same thing.
50 years ago, same
Yeah.
story. There were single story structures back then with hip roofs, but Sam was up to the original,
Really?
well, not the original, but like.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So we also are getting permission to work with Kenny Coffin and about sand movement and management of the beach over time. And as we work our way back, I can tell you one thing, we're looking at putting basically some sort of pathway where this wood boardwalk is. Right now it's scoped as a Moby mat. It will not be straight. It will be curved, again, trying not to create a wind tunnel through that dune. But so this is going to be either a wood boardwalk or a Moby mat. I think we're going to end up with a Moby mat that goes to this area. We really worked hard to maximize parking while also maintaining parking only in kind of the existing impervious areas. And one of the reasons for that is because we think we just want to keep the Belgian block and expand it. So we would expand these areas where there are structures right now to have Belgian block in them. And as well as this area over here where there's a structure. What we're recommending, and I know this is a little different than we've discussed in the past, is trying to relocate the garage for storage over to here in the sand. This is going to be something that is not easy for the Concom, but otherwise we're going to lose significant numbers of parking spaces. And I do think parking is a premium at this site, so we tried to maximize it. We have 2 curb cuts, so we do have a new curb cut proposed here, again, in an effort to maximize parking. And what else? We are envisioning this as storage, and then we're actually envisioning perhaps some really nice porta potties back in here.
Not next to the restaurant.
Well, this is part of the reason that I think it's important we work with the neighbors. I did speak with the owners of the restaurant, and they have some concerns, and so we want to work with them and be good neighbors. And I've talked to him. We agreed to follow up with an additional conversation. But I think one of the most major concerns they have is people using their bathrooms on a regular basis.
That's a fair point.
So, and I think the only other things I'd point out are some knee walls that are going to go around here. Again, trying to keep sand out of the parking lot or keeping sand on the beach. And that's about it. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
You started by using the term dune structure. What does that mean?
Basically it means a dune. We're going to create a sand dune.
And that's not going to be shifting?
It will shift, but that's why we're putting this knee wall here. And I think probably what we've discussed is we're going to end up in the wintertime, we might end up stacking Jersey barriers during the off season because,
Okay.
To prevent everything from moving into the parking area. This might shift around, but the whole purpose is to function as the sand's blowing to catch it, and hold it there. And especially if it's slightly vegetated, it should actually function that way. Otherwise, we really do, unless we have a 10-foot tall fence here and a 10-foot tall fence here, we run the risk of everything.
Okay, so my next question is, so what's your definition of a knee wall? What does that look like?
So
Yeah, what's it made of? And what's it?
Right, it can look like anything, honestly, but the one that's down there now is a kind of, I don't know if you've looked at it, you guys have seen it. So it's almost looks like pilings, but they're almost like railroad ties, but they're square.
Oh, right on the road on Jefferson Ave.
And they're different heights.
Mhm.
You know, we were thinking we would start by mimicking that.
Mhm.
I think this is going to have to be a highly adaptive site. We were talking about this the other day as a staff.
Mm.
And we think this is gonna have to be a site where we see what works. And if it's not working, we're gonna have to change it.
There is a ton of sand that comes in there. They've already had front loaders down there moving the sand around and all that sort of thing. My understanding when we bought the property, because the town didn't take the street all the way down to the ocean, that we own where the roadway is. We and the club on the other side owns the other half. Now, my understanding is that National Grid, because that's where the two underground cables come through, are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for being able to do that. Now, do we get any of that money?
That's interesting. I did not know that they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but I could certainly look into it. I know the cables are there, but I thought, for some reason, I thought it was kind of a one-time payment, but I can double check and make sure. I mean, if it's a consistent yearly thing.
Yeah, I'm not
That
100%
would be
sure.
really interesting.
Yeah, well, when I read it when I think around the time we bought the
Yes.
property. And I said, oh my gosh, I wonder, you know, that whatever the amount was, it seemed like a significant amount of money. And, you
I
know,
can do
if
some
we,
research.
I remember during the negotiations for this, one of my concerns was that we get an easement before we bought it,
exactly, for the
which we
money.
did.
Yeah.
But I was pretty clear that it was a one-time payment, and it was a lot. When the electric company came in, because the town didn't own that bit, they had to pay both parties,
Exactly.
you know, large checks to each of them. But I don't think it was an annual.
No, I think it was one time.
Oh, okay, well, that would be good to check.
My one observation with Belgian block, it's $40 to $50 a square foot.
Yeah.
Just,
So this is an interesting question. And we're open, honestly, as a staff, we're really open to it. These are going to have to be concrete because it's ADA. So these three spaces will be concrete. What we're torn about is the idea that all of this area, all of this area, and all of this area is existing Belgian block. So do we take out?
I'd say you leave it
I'd say
and
leave
add
it
more
and-
concrete. I mean, that's the most practical, cost-effective,
Hmm.
instant, you know, and at the end of the day, for handicap accessibility, I think it's the friendliest.
Is there some reason you wouldn't put the ADA required spots in the places that don't have the in one of the building areas? Yeah.
We could potentially move them up here. I'd have to look at how backing out works. I don't know how would that work? So you'd drive in here, pull in here, you'd have to back out this way and then turn this way. It's interesting. It's a good point. We can look at that. We definitely played with parking, just to maximize it. We looked at diagonal spots. We looked at all kinds of.
I would recommend that we don't commit one way or the other until like kind of like the buildings are gone and we see the
Yeah.
space and then we can see, is it gonna look really aesthetically unpleasing to have concrete and Belgian block, or is there a way to, you know, not have to, you know, to be cost effective, but
Maybe
not.
you'll put the ADA where that garage is, it's gonna move, and you drive right in off the road and back right out.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna take up extra spaces.
You mean here?
Yeah,
Right there.
Yeah.
That seems to make some sense to me.
That's an idea too. We could look at moving it over there. We'd probably lose these ones here, but that's.
But you'd gain the other three.
But the
at other
boardwalk's
end.
way over there. That's one of the issues.
There
Unless you
is a
could-
boardwalk
There is a
here.
boardwalk there.
So
Right.
we're trying to maximize accessibility. if we put it here, we'd have to look at moving this curb cut.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's tricky. It's a little bit of a tricky space, but we will look at conservation of resources and trying to
If
maximize
we put
that.
it there, it would be immediately adjacent to the one that is there.
Yep, that is exactly
So
what
that makes
Tom's
it,
handicap parking is right here.
makes it a little easier for them to turn around and back out because it would be two side by each place.
One reason that we put it over here, and again, this is all up for discussion, so completely open-minded at this point. The one reason we put it over here is because the beach access wheelchairs were going to be stored in here. So the theory was you could get to here, this would be a boardwalk or a Moby mat, you would be able to get to here, pick up your wheelchair and cruise down here. If we don't have them here, we would have to actually, it's more reason to mix surfaces because we would have to have concrete all the way over to here. Right, so it's another reason to actually have mixed surfacing. And that's just more of an aesthetic.
But the beach buggy comes to the car, does not, they don't go to the beach buggy.
I don't
They're
know.
allowed.
No, I think they do.
I don't know, I think it could
It
go,
could be either way.
I think it can go either way.
I mean, you want somebody to feel that who is handicapped but still mobile, they can take care of themselves.
So how many parking spaces are we looking at?
22. 1, 2, 3.
It says 26.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So you're looking for a motion to approve this preliminary plan?
I don't have this as 26. These are meh.
The 26 spots.
Meh.
Just one other question, how do the people who have the easement get into their property, like, it's their spots?
They have their own curb cut here and they come in here.
Okay.
Yep, so they're totally
They're all
fine,
set.
they're all set. But again, we want to make sure that the other reason to put this here is actually to give this family a little bit of space, a little bit of separation, you know? Maybe you don't have to look at absolutely everything. And we do want to be cognizant of our neighbors on the other side as well.
Any other questions from the commission?
No, but I really do like the pavers. If it's, we'll have to see what the two bids come in at, but I love that look. But I did have a question. So with all this shifting sand, how do they get the sand off these Belgian blocks? Do they have a sweeping machine or something? So it's not a problem having Belgian
It's
blocks?
just more expensive.
Yeah, it's just cost.
Just
But
cost.
it's about 3/4 of the existing surface right now, so.
That are already in Belgian block?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like contrast and I also
Mm.
genetically, I like a little bit of thrift if possible. Sorry.
Well, I think there's time to decide on that. That's not a
Yeah.
Concom decision, is it?
You know, it's interesting,
Oh,
I'll have to ask Art. I think the point is that it's impervious, they're both impervious, but I do think they actually care.
Well, maybe they'll make the determining factor for us.
Yes. Gravel, I'm not open-minded to gravel because that, moving sand off of gravel is not.
yeah.
So, I mean, all washed concrete, you know, that we have at the Hayes, I would like that, rather than, just as a contrast, I don't think,
I actually do like that at the property.
so. Do you need,
We need approval for this draft plan.
Yep, for the draft plan and any considerations you'd like us to change so that it can go to Concom on we'll file it Thursday and move forward from there.
Make a motion to approve.
second,
Any other questions?
So we're voting on, this is going forward this coming Thursday?
It is not being heard this Thursday, it will be filed on Thursday.
Okay. Not for-
Primarily to get the buildings moved.
I like,
Bingo.
I like the accelerated process, so.
Okay,
All those in favor?
Aye.
very much.
Excellent. That's all for property management. Going to long range objectives.
So we are going to start a new project that I think we've talked with everyone a little bit about, but instead, in addition to looking at property priorities, we will be looking at priorities in general. So we're going to be giving you each a piece of paper, and you're going to be asked to rank a set of priorities for the land bank. And part of the reason to do this is because right now, all of our priority properties really focus on waterfront. But I think it would be interesting to see what land bank commissioners' priorities are. And also, we're going to ask you to look at it two ways. One is from the commissioners' priorities, and then one is from what you think the community's priorities are. So there's going to be two priority lists. And then from there, we already have our existing priority list for properties, but from there, it will be interesting to look at our list and see how it jives with those concepts of priorities for the commission and priorities for the community.
Will you be sending those in time for the next meeting?
Oh,
So
We're not getting a piece of paper and doing homework right now.
not this
Okay,
second,
fine.
this is coming your way.
okay, but it'll be coming in the form of homework. You do it,
Yes.
and we'll be ready for the next meeting.
Yes, it is.
And you'd like it before, so you can
That would be amazing.
reading it.
And if you feel like there's questions, we can discuss it at the next meeting and then bring it to the next one as well. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right. In the old days, a couple of years ago or whatever, we used to come across properties when either commissioners would recommend, take a look at this one, what do you think of this, and so on. So, do we still do that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean,
Still-
definitely, you should still bring properties to us, for sure. This is just a different way of thinking it through so that staff too can target looking for properties to fit.
No, I think this is a great idea too,
Um,
and to really focus on what we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So,
so that's one project.
okay.
All right, thanks, that's my update.
That's a good
Any
idea.
other questions on that? Just homework for next month, next week, next meeting, and get it in time for them to review.
Perfect.
Do you want to do this one or do you want me to do it? I'll
I
start.
don't even have it. in front of me.
I'll start. You can
Okay,
start.
I'll
You
chime
and
in.
Marion can chime in. Okay, so we have been, are we on to regular business? I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm jumping ahead.
No, we are.
So we have been having a discussion regarding transfers, and we're saying a corporate ownership here, but really it's a number of different structures in basically selling and buying entities of real estate on Nantucket that are LLCs and C corporations, S corporations, LLPs, trusts, where we have multiple underlying owners. And what's coming about is the way that our act is set up. Basically, we are looking to, our act says we are to collect a 2% transfer fee on any transfer of real property interest. And the transfer, this is like a test, Marion. I'm looking at Marion behind me. So the transfer, what's happening traditionally is you would buy a property, right? You would pay your 2%, you would then sell a property, and everything would be fine. It would be the same owner across from the start to the end. Now what we're seeing is multiple different entities that are underlying these ownership models, and they're transferring shares, transferring interests, transferring, you name it, in the background. And so,
And they're supposed to come to us, or when that happens.
yes, in theory, their job is to come to us, and they have not been during all these transfers that are happening in the background. This is an issue that is something that we've been dealing with, and what we're mostly seeing frustration at the time of a sale, because we say we need this information, and they're suddenly like, well, what do you mean? We want to close today, So what we're trying to do with this policy discussion regarding transfers of corporate ownership is we're trying to educate people that we do need more of this information, and to give staff at least 5 days to review it. And that, if you're doing it, which many people are, if you're doing it the right way and following the rules, you're providing information on these transfers that are happening in the background as they're happening. And, you're paying small amounts throughout the duration of your ownership. Versus what happens sometimes is they come in at the end and Marion recognizes that what you had in the beginning and what you had in the end is completely a mismatch. And then she says, wait a second, can you provide this information? And then it turns into kind of a mess.
Point of clarification, is it my understanding that it's at the point of sale, it's the seller that we're requesting information from, or is it the buyer that does not want to provide the information at the time of purchase?
Interestingly enough, both, but I'll let Marion jump in now.
It's both. It's whatever entity is required to complete the Form 2 information and disclose the underlying interest. I spend a lot of time reconciling and reviewing these transfers after they've happened. The way the market has been in the last year, several years, we've seen an increase in the more complicated structures, if you will. There's no secret the market, the prices of real estate are valuable here. And oftentimes there are several entities going in to own an asset in a portfolio. And it just gets very complicated. When I see it, something that doesn't match up, I go to the attorney and ask them for the information to be provided. Sometimes they are very helpful, forthcoming. They know exactly what has happened. You can file the paperwork, and if there's not been any exchange of consideration, such as if it's beneficial interest in a trust to give to a family member, something like that, no problem. Now you're up to date and go ahead and move forward. Sorry, what?
So I guess
I get lost in it. I spend so much time doing it.
I guess my question is like, when at the time of transfer, the buyer has to pay the 2% and has to disclose who all that list is. But where the miss is, if the seller is different than what it was originally stated, there was an opportunity there of collections that was missed because the property had subsold along the way, and we don't catch it until the time of sale. We'll always get the 2% from the buyer.
Yes.
It's just a matter of them getting names. But the opportunity or loss for the land bank is if the seller is different at that time, then it's been sold without our
Yes.
knowledge.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And they don't always result in a fee being due, but we still are supposed to have this up-to-date information.
So my question is that I was talking about somebody who had concerns about privacy. I mean, isn't that why, it's a Three Apples trust that buys it, which gives you, when you read the paper,
Yes.
that's, you're anonymous. My question was this policy. So if somebody owns a house and they want to put it in a trust, is the land bank fee due when it's passed in amongst family?
It
No,
depends. No, most of the time.
yeah, usually that's exempt.
Yeah.
And they can keep it, and we keep all these things confidential. We keep them in
Right.
separate files. We don't, in fact, an attorney calls us in a year and says, I don't remember who was under that trust. We'll get the permission from the owner. We won't give it back to the attorney.
Right. So it is.
Because once it's in our hands, it's supposed to be confidential. Short of a court order. And one time we did have something subpoenaed and we said we keep that confidential and they let it go. But short of a court order, we wouldn't give out that information to anybody.
Just reassure this person if I run it.
So how common is it that this holds up a closing where people are seated at the table thinking they're gonna have a new home and it doesn't happen?
Within the last 6 months, we've maybe had one a month.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a problem.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, I'll just jump in for 1 second, Ryan, is that because a lot of times, well, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say because a lot of times these are investment properties. It's not like somebody's waiting to move into their house always, It's just the frustration on the part of the sellers and the buyers and the attorneys, and that's really what it is. That doesn't feel great that we're holding this process up. But it is because our act requires us to get information that they haven't provided. And so that's what the purpose of this educational policy is.
So if we vote for this tonight, so this will provide clarity going forward, so you two will not have to spend as much time.
Right, when an entity buys something, our intention is to hand the lawyer the piece of paper and also then mail it to the manager or whoever. You know, that hopefully they keep that in mind before they start selling interest underneath it and they,
Right.
you know,
So these will be on our website,
that too.
everything, so there's no, if we.
The only thing that we're doing different at this point is asking them to give it to us a little bit early so we can try not to hold up their closing.
Right.
Everything else is already in our act. It's just reminding them what's in our act.
So what you're presenting tonight is, can you explain what you're presenting tonight? You're saying it's a policy?
So we're saying it's a policy. Flip to it. And the reason it's a policy is really because of the policy component. So, okay, so there's two pieces to it. There's the education component, which discusses, it's the notice to entity purchasers, right? Which discusses the Land Bank Act and cites the places in the act that are relevant.
And this is new, this is what.
No, this is
Always
all
been.
in existence. That information was pulled out and highlighted and explained. This is why we need this information.
Yeah.
Folks. The next part is, which is on the back, is the policy component, which, and this is the part that's different, what Susan was saying, which basically says, we require, if you have a complicated entity structure, we are going to require this information 5 days in advance of your closing so that we can review it and we can have time to Land Bank staff can have time to do due diligence and therefore won't hold up your closing.
Well,
Possibly. We're gonna do our best not to hold up your closing. So it basically is asking you to submit the Form 2 ahead of time, and then it acknowledges that if you don't, it may hold up your closing.
And here's the thing is when these things are happening, this thing is going back and forth between the lawyers for months. They don't think about us. So we're just asking send us the draft too.
Like we brought in a little bit earlier.
So local attorneys see this and are familiar with it, but if it's an off-island attorney handling that closing, how do they get this? Do they get this
Oh, I'm
information?
gonna hand them the piece of paper and we're gonna send it to them.
Email it.
Is this educated through the real estate brokers as well?
We will.
A huge number, I don't know how the word gets out, but a huge number of people call this office every single day asking about how to process a transfer.
It's usually paralegals. And
And oftentimes we've been doing, we've been trying to be proactive as best we can. We've been reviewing the paperwork before they send it in. They've been, for the most part, very, helpful. They would nobody wants to hold up the sale. Nobody wants to get their paperwork sent back. So, if you call me and you have questions, I'm happy to review it in advance. And the more complicated ones take more time. And, it's all of the transfers that are happening. I just glanced at the last few months of transfers and I would say 80% of all of the transfers are some kind of an entity.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of double checking in.
So this sounds like a great way to clarify for the buyers and the sellers how things work.
And help you guys.
Yes, I think so. It's a great reminder. The information's always been
For
there.
my
It's in the
support.
Land Bank Act, but I think that a refresher or something different to jog everybody's memory or inform them and allow them the extra time to help them get the sale through would be helpful.
I move approval.
Second.
Any other questions?
No, I just hope this is readily available to NARAP, to all the realtors.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And thank you guys I know it's been a lot of work and just putting this together with Valerie and getting to something. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Shout out to Marion.
Complicated.
Marion is
complicated.
Very complicated.
There's a lot of math. There's a lot of
80%
math.
of her time digging through this stuff.
Oh,
Marion is
very
amazing at this stuff.
There's a lot of
It
details.
is literally turned into practically a full-time
Are we
job.
still on the screen?
Yes.
Yes, we are. I had moved us around. Yes, Marion spends an inordinate amount of time, and thank you to Susan and Marion for putting together that educational pamphlet as well as the policy associated with it.
She's good at it because she loves it.
Most of the time?
She's a sleuth at heart. She has that sweet face, but.
Curious mind, very analytical.
So,
Okay, moving on to transfer businesses.
We have one set of happy new first-time home buyers. They bought land.
Excellent.
So one signature.
I have a motion to approve the transfers.
Did we even need a motion to approve that or no? That was just an informative thing?
We
You
did.
just did.
Oh, we did.
voted. Motion to approve the
So
transfers.
moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Move to approval of the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have a bunch of minutes here. I want to let you get started on that. And then we can move into consent items, and I will recuse from the warrant. And do we have any questions on the consent items or a motion to approve?
Second.
Yep. All those in favor? Aye.
we will need you to sign for the Grace Hollow license under the land bank condition, please. I did not put your names in, but I can. If you sign under it. See, when I do it, there's no name, there's no sticker that says sign here. There's no,
Terribly confused.
yes. There's how everyone else does it. It's.
Okay, are there any additional commissioners' questions or concerns?
I have none.
Just make sure. Anyone have something?
Sign something.
Yeah, it's not a
Neil,
lot.
do you have any questions or concerns?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so if that's the case, then we are entering executive session for the following purposes. Purpose 7, to approve executive session minutes. Purpose 6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Discussions in open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the land bank. We will not be convening an open session at the conclusion of the executive session. Did we adjourn from this? Motion to,
Just to go into.
yeah, motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.